Today I'm going to teach you how to make these realistic amigurumi burgers. So grab your 4mm crochet hook and let's get started! To make the top bun, we're going to begin with a magic ring. Next, do 6 single crochets inside the ring. For round 2, we're going to increase all the way around. So do 2 single crochets in each stitch. You'll end up with a total of 12 single crochets. Begin round 3 by increasing. So do 2 single crochets in your first stitch. Feel free to add in a stitch marker so you don't lose your spot. In the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Repeat this pattern of increasing followed by 1 single crochet all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. For round 4, you're going to single crochet all the way around. For a total of 18 single crochets. Begin your next round by increasing. So do 2 single crochets in the same stitch, followed by 2 regular single crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. Repeat this pattern all the way around for a total of 24 single crochets. Begin your next round by increasing. Followed by 3 single crochets, 3 regular single crochets. Repeat this pattern, increasing, then 3 regular single crochets for a total of 30 stitches. For our final round, we're going to single crochet all the way around for a total of 30 single crochets. Now you can see it sort of looks like the top of a burger bun, and to end off, we're going to do a slip stitch and then cut our yarn. Next, we're going to make the bottom half of the top bun. To do that, we're going to begin with a magic ring and do 6 single crochets inside the ring. Next, we're going to increase all the way around, or do 2 single crochets in each stitch, doubling the number of single crochets for a total of 12. For round 3, we're going to increase, so do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern of increasing followed by a single crochet for a total of 18 stitches. Next, we're going to increase, followed by 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. Repeat this pattern for a total of 24 stitches. For our final round, we're going to increase, followed by 3 single crochets. At the end of this round, we'll end up with a total of 30 single crochets, just like the other half of the burger bun. End off with a slip stitch, and then cut a nice long tail so we can sew the 2 pieces together. Next, grab some white wool and some stuffing to complete our burger bun. Using the first piece we made, we're going to add some sesame seeds out of this white wool. So poke through the inside to the outside, and don't pull all the way through, just leave a little strand like that. Then go across some stitches, across 1 stitch, and then out into a nearby location. This makes a little seed. Now this step is completely optional. It's up to you whether you want a seated burger bun or not. But in my opinion, it really adds to the cuteness. If you've ever made a donut, it's similar to adding sprinkles. And just continue going around and around until you have as many seeds as you'd like. Once you're done adding your seeds, all you can have to do is tie a double knot with the white tail where you started and ended. This will be tucked inside your bun, so you won't see this from the outside. Next, we're going to get rid of this brown tail. So to do that, just poke under this V here. And now now poke under just a bit of the stitching inside. And there's actually no need to cut the yarn because it'll just be buried in along with the stuffing. Next, using your second piece, you want to go under this stitch here, just like we did to finish off the first one. Just tuck away that slip stitch, and now we're ready. So, now what you're going to do is grab a V and go through both parts of the V from the top part, and go through both parts of the V of the bottom. Top, bottom. Top, bottom. For both of these, you're going through the top and the bottom, and both parts of the V, or of the stitch. Usually you just go through half, but it makes it sort of seamless and look perfect, like an actual burger bun. Allows for a more rounded finish rather than two separate pieces. So continue this until you get about halfway through, and then we can add some stuffing. As you can see, I've got about halfway or just about more done, and make sure to stuff your tails inside, and then you can start ripping off little pieces of your stuffing and sticking that inside. Once it's stuffed to your desire, you can finish up the last little bit. That looks about good to me. So I'm just going to continue going through the top and the bottom half and both parts of my V. To finish off your burger bun, all you have to do is poke out into a random spot. Maybe do that one more time, like so. And now we can be certain it's not going to fall apart, and we can cut our yarn. Next, let's make the meat of the burger. To begin, make a magic ring. And then do 8 single crochets inside the ring. Pull tight, and for round 2, you're going to begin by increasing. So do 2 single crochets in that first stitch. And in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Repeat the pattern of increasing followed by a single crochet all the way around for a total of 12 single crochets. Begin round 3 by doing an increase. Followed by 2 regular single crochets. Repeat this pattern all the way around for a total of 16 single crochets. For our final round, you're going to begin by increasing. Followed by 1 single crochet. Repeat this all the way around for a total of 24 single crochets. We're going to end our patty off with a slip stitch, and then you can cut your yarn. Next, let's sew in the tails before we continue. So for the tail where we ended, go under that V to just hide that slip stitch, and then on the back side, let's just go under a few stitches, and then we can cut our yarn. For the tail where we started, just pull tight so that our center doesn't have a hole, and then go under some stitches like we did for the previous tail. And then you can feel free to cut both of your tails. Next, we're going to make our cheese. Since cheese is square, we're beginning with a chain rather than a magic ring. So you're going to chain 10. Now you're going to skip the closest 2 chains to your hook, and in that third one, you're going to do a double crochet. So wrap around, go through half of the V, pull through 2 loops, and wrap around, pull through the last 2 loops. That's 1 double crochet. You're going to do a double crochet until you get back to where you started. So a total of 8 double crochets. For our next row, we're going to chain 2, and then do 8 double crochets once again. So wrap around, go under both parts of the V here, pull through 2 loops, and pull through your last 2. That's 1. Once you get to the end of this round or row, you'll have 2 rows in total. You're going to repeat this process of doing 2 chains followed by 8 double crochets for 2 additional rounds, so you'll have a total of 4 rows, so it looks like a square. My cheese is complete, so to end off I'm just going to, well, I cut my yarn, and now I'm going to go under some stitching just to tie in my tails. Now we've got our burger, our cheese, and our bun, or the top bun. So let's move on to our tomatoes. You're going to begin with a magic ring. And you'll do 4 single crochets inside the ring. For your next round, you're going to increase all the way around. So do 2 single crochets in each stitch for a total of 8 single crochets. For our final round, you're going to increase in the first stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Repeat this for a total of 12 stitches. For your first tomato, you're just going to cut your yarn as is. No slip stitch, and repeat this to make a second tomato. I just finished my second tomato, and we're going to join the 2 by doing a single crochet right here to tie the 2 together. Okay, so go like this, and wrap around, pull through. And now you can cut your yarn. Using the tail from the first tomato, we're going to join the 2 together. So you're going to go under a V from the other side, and then back into the tomato, first tomato, and then across to the second one, like so. Okay, and then you can just poke out into a random spot and cut that tail. Our last topping is our lettuce. So to begin, you want to make a magic ring. And do 6 single crochets inside the ring. For round 2, you're going to increase all the way around. So 2 single crochets in each stitch for a total of 12. For round 3, you're going to increase in the first stitch and do 1 single crochet in the next. Repeat this pattern of increasing and then doing a regular single crochet for a total of 18 stitches. Now we're going to add the frill onto our lettuce. To do that, we're going to do 3 single crochets in the front loop only. So in the front half of our V, we'll do 3 stitches. Then in our second stitch, we're going to work in the back loop only, so only in the second half of our V. We're going to do 2 single crochets. We're going to repeat this pattern. So in the next stitch, work in the front loop and do 3 single crochets. In the next stitch, work in the back loop only and do 2 single crochets. This is probably the trickiest part, but you can see it's already starting to take shape and curl up. By the end, you should have done this process 9 times. You're going to end off by doing 1 slip stitch in the stitch where we started. Then go ahead and cut your yarn. Now to sew our tail where we just ended, inside you're going to poke through this stitch so that the slip stitch is sort of pulled to the back side. Then you're going to go under some stitches. And this will be inside our burger, so you won't really see this part. Once you've gone under a couple, you can cut your yarn. And we'll do the same with the tail where we started as well. Now we're going to finish off with our bottom bun. Begin as usual by making a magic ring. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets inside the ring. For round 2, we're going to increase all the way around. So do 2 single crochets in each stitch for a total of 12. Begin your third round by increasing, followed by 1 single crochet. And repeat this for a total of 18 stitches. Begin your next round by increasing. Now the count's getting pretty big, so I'm going to use a stitch marker. Then in the next 2 stitches, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of them. Repeat this for a total of 24 stitches. Next, you're going to increase, followed by 3 regular single crochets. Repeat this pattern all the way around for a total of 30 stitches. Next, we're going to single crochet all the way around. Of course, we'll end up with a total of 30 single crochets. Now we're going to begin to cinch in our burger bun. So begin with a decrease. So go under half a loop of each of the first 2 stitches, wrap around and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. After that decrease, you're going to do 3 regular single crochets. You're going to repeat this all the way around. Decrease and then 3 single crochets for a total of 24 stitches. Next, we're going to decrease, followed by 2 single crochets. By the time we get back to where we started, we'll end up with 18 single crochets. For the next round, we're going to decrease, followed by 1 single crochet. And by the end of this round, we'll end up with 12 single crochets. Now's our chance to add in some stuffing before the hole gets too small. For our last round, we're going to decrease all the way around for a total of 6 single crochets. Now I'm going to slip stitch. So go under both parts of the V, wrap around, and pull through the loops. And now I'm going to cut a super long tail. First of all, I'm going to sew this hole closed. So I've just slip stitched into this stitch, so in the next stitch I'm going to go into the outer half of the V of each of the stitches. So I'm going to do 2 at a time. So I should end up going under 6 pieces. Once I've gone under all the stitches, I'm just going to pull closed. And that should eliminate my hole here. Good. Now I'm going to stick my needle right in the center, down through, out into the bottom. Now at this point, you could stop, or you could assemble your whole burger and keep it together, because otherwise it could just stack and fall apart. I'm going to assemble my burger with cheese, then my patty, then my tomatoes, and lastly my lettuce. Now, I have my bottom bun, so what I'm going to do is poke out over top, skip a row and poke back up. And I'm actually going to poke out here, not right through my center, but sort of. And now I have the opportunity to sew all these pieces together. So what I'm going to do is poke through all of them. So make sure you get through all of them. Like so. And now what I'm going to do is grab my top bun and poke. Okay, I want it like that. So I'm going to poke through a piece here and then poke into the center. Okay. Next, what I want to do is poke back down through all the pieces, through the centers. All my centers, including the base center. And then I'm going to poke out again just a little bit beside the center, like that. This is why we need a super long tail. Now don't pull too tight, because we need to go back up one more time. So now on this side I'm going to sort of stitch them all together by poking through every single piece. And back into my top burger, and then out into the very tip top. And now pull and you'll see your whole burger come together. Once you've pulled tight, then you want to secure your yarn. So go under a piece of the stitching, and you're going to go under. There we go, like so. And that makes a little knot so that the tightness will remain, then poke out to a random spot, and you can cut your yarn. I hope you were able to make one of these burgers for yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.